take this?
Leave off, will you?
Oh, come on, Guy Fawkes.
Paying me compliments now, is she?
Compliments?
There was only one thing wrong with Guy Fawkes.
I know, he tried to blow up Parliament.
It weren't that he tried, he didn't bloody manage it.
Hey, I'm in there, you know.
I know. I do know. I blame myself for the way I brought you up.
Oh, you're wicked, you. Do you know that? And I was going to ask you in for a cup of tea.
I shall come, choose whether I'm asked or not. I shall come.
Don't start to get out when the bloody car's moving. I was about to back up.
Go on, get back to work.
Sarah? Look, if Ethel rings, tell her the check's on its way. I promise to look into it for her.
What, George's compensation? How much?
3,700. It'll bring her an income in as long as she doesn't spend it on riotous living. Been over a year now. They don't rush it, do they?
Will you be late again?
I'll try not to be. Can't blame Stan these days, can you? I'm works manager now. You'll have to blame me. We've a problem or two.
I know. I get it too, don't I? Remember what Peter Crossman used to say about leaving your work at the office?
Ah, and he died of an ulcer.
Well, don't be late tomorrow night, for Tom's sake. Bonfire night.
Aye, I know. I should do. I've been bloody nagged about it enough.
And now you're forbidding him fireworks.
Because he was careless last year, and only if I can't come, I'll be there.
I can rely on that, can I?
I've just said, haven't I?
Oh, washing machine's broke down again. Shall I get the man in or ask Sam to have a look at it?
Sam, you can't ask a works manager to mend your washing machine. Country can't afford it. They're one of the little stalwarts of the export trade, Crossmans.
You wouldn't think so to hear Sam talk. Going down the nick, he says. They've had a lot of trouble the last few years.
They're an antiquated board, Crossmans. There's only Sam and Morris Neal. They're under 60. And they stopped pulling together when Peter Crossman died. They're not exactly what Crossland had in mind when he talked about the new managerial classes.
Crossland?
That's CAR Crossland. Have you not finished reading The Future of Socialism yet?
Oh, I'm halfway through.
Oh, well, plough on. He only wrote it in 1956. If you finish it by the end of the decade, you'll be able to tell him where he went wrong.
I serve on 6 committees and keep your shirts in order. In between running the home and answering the telephone 20 times a day.
All right, I get the point.
I'd like to read more. I've always wanted to read more books. Just you tell me what you'd like to do with that and I'll be happy to oblige. Or maybe that lot that pay your petrol will pay me a wage and I'll try getting 14 days out of the week. They get me for free. Do you know that, the Labour Party?
All right, I said I'm sorry.
Workers. What would you class me as?
A worker.
You'd better, mate. And I don't want any comments from you either.
Nay, I'm on your side, I am. I must be. I'm again him.
All I did was ask her if she'd read a book.
Books, you read too many books. How many pits are they closed while you've been reading your books?
It's all done by agreement between the unions and the coal board, Dad.
In whose interest?
Well, it's in the interest of economic working, isn't it? I would have thought that was everybody's interest.
Except for the poor buggers that get thrown out of work, you mean?
There's plenty of employment around the country.
Telling us all to up sticks again, are you?
No. No, it's rough, I know.
You're on a sticky wicket, aren't you?
Aye. It's not easy.
They'll rue it, you know. And there's another lesson to be learned in all. When the union walks hand in glove with the state, who stands between the government and the working man? Answer me that if you can. You can't, can you? I know you can't, so you needn't bother trying. I shall not listen if you do.
Give me him! No, you're not having him! Give me him! No! I'll eat you! Well...
Shh, quiet!
You're not having him! You're not having him! Give me him!
Come
You're
in.
not having
Must have
him!
left the latch
You're
down.
not having him!
Don't worry, I
I'll
always
eat
read.
you!
You never know what
Get
might...
up!
Quiet!
Good heavens, it worked. I'm glad you came. Sam asked me to let Ethel know the check's on its way. Check? The compensation for George.
Oh, that. I don't think I want to be reminded about that.
Look, you were right not to take it to court. I don't mean from Crossman's point of view. But the evidence could have suggested that Grandad's row with George made him careless, couldn't it?
Careless of life? I don't think I was right. I think I was wrong. Half marks for trying and a scribble in the margin, do better next time.
There's a chap in here, wants you, Liz.
Oh?
Up there.
No, Sam, not at work. We agreed.
Nobody comes here except mornings, love.
It's not that. It's... You know what it is.
Sorry.
My fault for letting it start in the first place, isn't it?
Sam? What do you want, Billy?
Advice.
What about?
Can you nip in at my place tonight?
A bonfire night tomorrow. Have a job or two at home.
That is something that really can't wait.
All right then, Billy. If you say so.
Now, you just play quietly, understand? Fat chance. Hey, is that toffee all right? Sam usually complains that his teeth stick together. He reckons I put glue in it.
It's fine. It's as good as old Ma Duffy used to make. There's never been better than that.
Well, thank God something's all right.
What's up?
Oh, bonfire night. I'm fed up with it already.
And it'll probably rain.
Coming?
Expect so. Recapture my youth.
Worth recapturing, was it?
Some of it. Why, it wasn't yours?
Yes, that part of it, perhaps. Yes, I suppose I ought to know what the ingredients of a happy childhood are. A solid marriage, for one thing. Well, that takes two, doesn't it?
What's up?
Duh. Just one of those vague feelings that women seem prone to. It's the aging process, I suppose. Forget it. You on duty at the hospital this weekend?
No.
Good, you'll be coming round then.
Of course. Some of the time. Why?
You usually manage to coax him into a good mood if you're here when he gets back from Crossman's.
Sam? I wasn't aware I did any coaxing. All the way round, if anything. How many times have I said I told you so when he complains about the rat race? He gets no sympathy from me.
He did it for me, Pat.
Rubbish.
Yes, he did. Mostly for me, anyway.
He never struck me as being desperate to keep up with the Joneses.
Oh, come off it, Pat. If you ever have 3 kids, you'll realise that you look to the future more than somebody who hasn't any. You work for security, mostly. Most people do anyway. Having kids is another world from yours, you know. If you don't believe me, you find yourself a husband and get cracking.
I'm a career woman, aren't I?
That's what you want, is it?
It's what I seem to have got stuck with, isn't it?
Morris is coming tonight. He's coaching Tom, helping him with his maths.
Old reactionary. Just as well I won't be here.
You won't?
No. No, I've got something on tonight.
Can I see you tonight instead of tomorrow?
Why tonight?
Bonfire night tomorrow.
Family.
Kids.
Sam?
I've put the cheques out for you to sign. There are 1 or 2 letters as well.
Thanks, Liz.
Billy Tripp wants to see me tonight.
Oh?
He wants me to come round to his place.
Why?
Well, he'll have good reason. It's not often he has to see me outside work.
It's happened before, then?
Once or twice, yeah.
It's works business, though.
I think so, yes.
Well, shouldn't you be seeing him at the works, then?
I do, usually.
I'd rather you didn't, you see. See him at home, I mean.
Oh, I see. You'd rather keep it here, would you? Across a desk, him on one side, me on another. You're old-fashioned, Morris. Not that you're on your own. I can remember the colliery manager coming to see me granddad when I was a lad. He'd to come at night so he wasn't spotted. If it had got known, my granddad would have been marked for life, though he never sold his own out in his life. God, you'd think those days were past, wouldn't you?
It's the chairman who's old-fashioned, Sam, not me.
Do we have to wait till he retires to come up to date, then? Do you reckon we can afford to wait? I don't. That's why I do it my way. It's what they hired me for, isn't it? It's worked to everybody's satisfaction up to now. Theirs and the lads. I don't know about this time, though. It'll be the redundancies he wants to see me about.
How can you know about that? We're keeping it quiet until the new year.
You tell me how it leaks. But don't look at me. I've said nothing. I still don't think it need happen. We've not heard from the Ministry of Defence yet, have we?
No, but I'm not optimistic. The cutbacks they made after Suez haven't reached us yet.
They're nearly as slow as we are, the government. We should have done what Jameson said. Diversify for other industries. Run complementary production lines with the marinising firms. The chairman voted that one down, didn't he? Using Cassie's vote.
Yes, well, apart from Jameson, there was only me and thee, as they say.
It's time Cassie was back from Australia. She's 2 kids at school here, apart from her responsibilities to this place. Have you heard from her lately?
Last week. Nothing about coming back, though. She'd ordered her brother a car and wanted me to organise shipment.
God, I better not let Billy know we've bought Cassie's brother a bloody car.
They're her shares, Sam. They're doing very reasonably, too, until this last year.
Has she sold any more?
No. No, she's still got controlling interest. I'll be round tonight, by the way. I'll hang on until you get back.
I'll be late. We usually go for a jar or two, you know. I'll pop my head round the door in the morning. See you later, then, eh?
More. You'll have that typewriter of yours seizing up. Oh, will you be in tonight, by the way? I left that address you were asking me about by the telephone. Always forget to bring it in somehow.
No, I won't be in this evening.
Oh. Oh, well, I'll try and remember it tomorrow. Or perhaps you could ring me. Memory like a sieve, haven't I? You still don't want me to tell anybody that you're leaving, I suppose?
If you don't mind.
Just means I can't go begging for sympathy. I'm going to be lost without you, you know.
They've run out of those bed jackets I wanted for Ethel. How long's he been like that?
Oh, an hour or more.
Sleeping Beauty. Hey, he is off, isn't he?
We'll have your card marked after that if he isn't. It'd take a bomb to waken him before he's ready. He's not come round first time yet, any road.
First time?
Aye. He opens his eyes, looks round as if he don't think much of it, and then goes off for another 5 minutes or so.
Tell you what, why don't we pick him up and transfer him round to his own fireside while he's still asleep? He'd know no different.
Yeah, we can't grudge him company. He doesn't see much of me these days.
You've a soft spot for him, haven't you?
Well, he's what I'm in Parliament for, I suppose. Though I've done precious little for him. I remember George once saying, round about that first polling day when they put me in, "We shall depend on thee," he said. I've never lived up to that.
You know what you've lived up to, and you know you've done your best and all. I'll go.
Hello, Irene.
Oh, come in.
I'll get a message to Pat, as possible.
Come in.
Thanks.
It's Tad.
Sad. I haven't seen you since that C&D sit down in Trafalgar Square when they carted Pat off. I will, sit down.
Oh, thanks.
Don't you come back home much?
Well, I've nobody around here now, Frank.
He's come to see Pat. Oh, don't worry about him. He's fast asleep.
I came round the back in case her mother saw me.
She wouldn't know you, would she?
Well, she might. From the picture on the back of that book of his that you lent her.
Yeah, and the bit underneath gives all the sordid details, doesn't it?
Who told you I'd lent Ethel your book?
I did. You rang me up last week, didn't you?
I'm sorry to involve you, but you see, I promised to get a message to Pat, but she's not on the telephone.
Oh, she is now. They put it in for her work. Look, I'll tell you what. I'll tell her. Why not be in the Brown Cow tonight at 7 o'clock and we'll bring her round, OK?
Yeah, I'm sorry about this, but you know what she's like where her mother's concerned. Well, I'll see you in the Brown Cow at 7.
All right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You're going to put Eileen's nose out of joint, aren't you? Dressing up to kill like that.
Who is?
You are. I'd think you were meeting a man if it wasn't for his spots.
Spots?
Well, the only one you ever passed 2 words with, the milkman. He looks like scarlet fever.
It's time we got a bungalow or something. How'd you like a nice little modern bungalow?
Seeking to set us apart, are you?
To what?
That's what that old misery next door'd say. Setting yourselves apart, he'd say. Proud, he'd say. Anyway, I thought you were a black shirt.
A what?
A black shirt.
Do you know what a black shirt is?
Yeah, we've had 'em all round here. Black shirts, red shirts, brown shirts. They're all the same to me. But they've all got dirty underwear. Show me your knickers.
I most certainly will not.
No, well, I don't care so long as you don't have an accident. You can call it hypocrisy if you like, but it's how I was brought up. Cleanliness is next to godliness, in case you didn't know.
Ready?
Just about.
Where you off to, then?
Cherry cake, isn't it, Frank?
Aye.
Oh, they say it's very expensive there. Nice, but expensive. Of course, I've never been myself.
Don't wait up for me, eh?
I'll not, I promise you.
Right, love.
Enjoy yourselves, then.
Good night, Ethel.
Right.
Oh, the tangled web we weave. Why didn't it cross my mind? She'll wonder why we're not taking her. It's her birthday tomorrow.
Oh, she'll not think that.
She will, you know. And she knows I'm codding her about something. She'll be quizzing you sooner or later. I'm sorry I got you involved. I was trying to protect her with a lie, and I've ended up hurting her.
Don't look now, but the curtain moved at number 6. Somebody else is feeling deprived.
What was it they said they spent when they went out that time? £2.10 for a meal for the pair of them. That's 7 and 6pence less than my bloody pension. We were born too soon, Polly. At the wrong time. We were born too soon.
What you doing?
Maths.
I didn't know you'd got to that stage.
It's bonfire tomorrow. You'll be there, won't you?
You mean will your fireworks be there, don't you?
Will they?
You should have behaved yourself last year.
Where did you say you were going?
Billy Trips.
For long?
Well, we'll have a jar or 2.
Morris is coming, you know.
Well, what's fresh about that? You don't need protecting from Morris, do you?
Wouldn't worry you much if I did, would it? Tom, love, my jacket's on my bed. Fetch it for me, will you? I'm a bit cold. And wash that ink off your fingers,
It's a leaky pen.
I hoped you'd be in when Morris came.
He doesn't, does he?
Doesn't what?
Well, you know, bother you.
Oh, you're joking, aren't you?
Well, you said it, not me.
Said what?
Well, you asked me to be here when he came.
Oh, don't be stupid. You know why. It's about this... It's about this other school for Tom.
Now, look, Sarah. We've been through all this before. I can't afford it. Morris should know that better than anybody. He's the bloody company secretary. He knows I don't get that kind of money. And even if I did...
There's no problem with the money.
No problem.
I've had a letter from David. He says he'll pay half the fees.
You've written to David?
Well, it seemed to me he owed Tom something. After all, he brought him into the world.
Well, why didn't you tell me you'd written to him? My God, you women. You cling on, don't you? Grained in you, flesh and blood. The fruit of the womb we used to read in Sunday school. I didn't know what it meant then. By God, I know what it means now. What's grinding at you, Sarah? What are you riding me for? Have I not cared for him then? The fruit of your womb, David's flesh and blood. Have I not cared for him as if he was one of my own?
Yes.
Do I have a say in this?
Oh, Sam.
Yes, I know, Sarah.
Of course you have.
You and bloody Morris cooking it up between
We
you.
haven't cooked anything up. I wrote to David. Morris doesn't even know I've heard from him. Oh, doing the right thing hasn't worked for you, has it, Sam?
The right thing? What's the right thing, Sarah?
Sacrificing yourself on the altar of domesticity, or you thought it was at the time.
Oh, don't let's go into that again, for God's sake.
It's true, though, isn't it? You married me because you thought you'd taken advantage of me and because I was broke and miserable. You've got a thing about women on their knees, haven't you, Sam? I knew that even then. I can remember trying to pretend I was fine and independent and not in need of you. The night you broke the kitchen window. Remember?
No.
Yes, you do. Fatal night for you, wasn't it? I thought you were off for good. And then at the door you said, we'll talk about the wedding in the morning. I could have said no then, but I didn't. I'm sorry about that, Sam.
You're talking rubbish.
No, I'm not. When I told you Tom wasn't yours, you only half believed me, didn't you? You thought you were your father again, walking out. All the old clutter we carry about in our heads that makes us what we are. Things we do without knowing why. Because of an old pain buried somewhere. And we see it in somebody else and it hurts, but we don't know why. There's another word for you there, Sam. I looked it up the other day. It's called empathy. It's the ability to put yourself in somebody else's place and know what's going on in their head.
You think you know all about me, don't you, Sarah? Like a good few others.
I meant you, not me. You're the one that lives with an old pain, Sam, not me. I don't think I know all about you. I don't understand your objection, though, to Tom going to a better school because he's special and he needs it.
And my two aren't special, I suppose.
He has a talent. He's a special case. Oh, don't say my two like that.
How do you think they're going to feel about
Well,
it?
if they grow up as I hope they'll grow up, they'll be glad for him, not envious. We're all different, Sam.
Well, I'll give you one thing, Sarah. Your reasons are better than Cassie's. She just didn't want the inconvenience of having her kids around.
That's a cruel thing to say, and it's not true either.
Hard as bloody nails, Cass got, even before Peter Crossman died. She's in no great hurry to get back to him from her brothers in Australia, is she?
Sam, why are you trying to make me fight you?
I'm not.
Yes, you are. You just want me to blow up at you, don't you? Why, Sam?
Want to leave us then, do you?
Sam!
Want to go to this school your Uncle Morris thinks such a lot of, do you?
Yes.
Stupid bugger.
What is it, Billy?
Tapestry. Well, a couple of square inches of it is. The rest bloody canvas. You've seen them tapestries in the museums, haven't you? Yards long, some of them.
You've hobbied for a lifetime there, Billy.
History of the working class boy. That's the theme. Too much for one bloody lifetime, innit?
I could do with hobby myself.
Well, you want to join the bowls club again?
It's time, Billy. We need more hours in the day.
Aye. We're all on overtime. It rules us. I know it does me. It has to. I couldn't manage without it. Still, it's there, the work. Better that than it shouldn't be. We live in fear of other days, my generation. It's rooted up here. We'll never be rid of it. Choose how things change for the better.
An old pain, eh?
Ah, you could call it that, I suppose. They laugh at me, some of the younger end in the foundry, going on about the old days the way I do. They were bad times, I tell them, and bad times can come again. But they won't have it. They've nothing to set it against, see? Well, they could be right, I suppose. Let's hope so, anyway. Hey! For God's sake, shut him up, will you? Charlie's trying to do his homework up there. Hey, he sits next to your boy in school. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Aye. Gee, how do you help them these days? They do things I never did. How do you get on, Sam?
Well, I don't get much time with Tom. He's usually in bed when I get back home.
Charlie gets a lot of help from him, you know.
He does.
Tom's the brightest lad in the class, Charlie reckons. Brighter than the blooming teacher, he said.
Well, what do you want to see me about, Billy? I'm not supposed to settle work problems outside the office.
Neither am I, come to that. You don't do much entertaining on the job, then?
Leave that to the sales lads. Gonna offer me a cup of tea, will you?
Oh, I'll put the kettle on if you want one.
No, I'm pulling your leg, Billy. I'm off out to eat after this. I suppose you've heard about the redundancies.
You're going around for a week or two now. Is it right?
No.
You sure? I mean, dead sure.
Well, I can't be dead sure, Billy.
Well, I can't scotch the rumour then, can I? We need to, diversify, don't we?
Who told you that?
There's a new chap in Assembly. He'll be a shop steward after the next ballot, I shouldn't wonder. On the committee. He knows his stuff. Your side of it as well as mine.
My side?
Well, the board, you know. Economics and so on. Finance. I never paid much attention to that side of things.
Nor me, apart from costing. Look, suppose I said that there's a 90% chance that we'll diversify.
And there'll be no redundancies?
No redundancies. Or a 90% chance there'll be no redundancies.
I'll be sticking my neck out.
So am I, 90%'s worth. It can wait for a bit, can't it?
There's only 40 shopping days to Christmas. They'll be spending their bonuses already in their heads. They're worried. And you've had it over you sometimes in your life, haven't you?
Aye. I know what it's like to have the wind up. Hey!
Bloody hell!
You'll have to make it in a holy picture now, Billy.
Aye, well, I'll tell the lads it'll be all right then.
There's a 10% doubt there.
I'll put that to your credit.
You got me worried now.
Well, I'd chance it with nobody else. You sure you don't want a cup of tea?
No. I'll be drinking champagne tonight, Billy.
You're pulling my leg again, ain't you?
Happen. So Tom helps your lad at school, does he?
Oh, aye. Hey, I was bucked when I first heard he was going to the same school. May wouldn't believe it at first. She thought he'd have sent him to the grammar like a lot do round that way. No, it bucked me, did that. Well, it puts us on a good footing, boy, doesn't it? Pity he's leaving, though. I mean, why do you change your mind like? Don't you reckon that school's any good?
Who told you Tom was leaving?
Well, Charlie did. He told Charlie he was leaving because he wanted him to.
Expecting me, were you?
Huh?
there's half a dozen tin tacks on here.
What's that for sale notice doing outside?
It's supposed to indicate to passers-by that this desirable residence is for sale.
Why is it for sale?
If you had to clean it, you'd know why. I'm a working woman. I can't live in a place this size, just me. I'd have sold it after my parents died if I'd had anywhere else to go.
Where are you going now?
Oh, I shall find somewhere. I have to wait till I'm sure I can sell this first, haven't I? I'm ready if you are.
We should have stopped in tonight.
And I insisted on going out. Spoilt sport, aren't I?
Sit down.
We'll be late. I'm a good secretary. I booked the table.
Sit down, I said. You think I'm just after sport, do you? Well, do you?
No. Perhaps not.
Perhaps not. What's that supposed to mean?
Well, sport's part of it, let's face it. I'm not complaining. In a way, I wish that's all it was. Makes it easier to find a replacement, doesn't it?
For me? For me to find a replacement? Is that what you mean?
For both of us.
Well, if it's not just sport, what else is it then?
For me, you mean?
We can take you first if you like.
You're the kind of man. The man I'd like to have married. The fact that you're married already. I was always dead against women who do what I'm doing. I don't seem to have practiced what I've preached, do I?
Well, you're not the first, are you?
No. But what sort of a world would it be if we all said one thing and did another?
Ah, but we don't think of that, do we? The world. We think we're all special cases. Nobody feels as we do. Nobody's got our problems. We think we're all unique, don't we?
I suppose in a way we are.
You're an anarchist, do you know that?
Am I? Thank you. It's nice to know what I am. What you think I am. Sam, we'll be late.
I've made it worse, haven't I? Not better as I wanted.
What? What have you made worse?
Your life.
It's a hobby, isn't it?
Hey?
Politics. It's a hobby. Well, for some it is. They enjoy it. You can tell. They'd not do it if they didn't. I mean, every single one of them that stands up knows that half the population could tell him to drop dead. Half that doesn't agree with him, I mean. I wouldn't like to think that half them I knew thought that about me.
How do you know they don't?
Did you used to enjoy it? Standing up making speeches, I mean.
No, I did not. Neither do most of them. They do it for what they believe in.
What did you believe in?
I believe that folks deserve from life as much as they were willing and able to put into it. I wanted a fair society. That's what I wanted.
That's what our Pat wants, I think. She wants us all to be equal, she says.
Equal, does she? She's a damn sight farther from getting what she wants than I am, then.
Oh, I don't see the difference myself. We're all equal in the sight of God.
By the living daylights. I wonder who thought that up.
Well, why shouldn't we be?
It's a benefit to us, is it?
Well, it will be, won't it? When the last call comes. When us vile bodies are changed and so on and so forth.
By the living daylights.
Well, what's wrong with it as a thought?
That's a thought.
Yes, as a thought. What's wrong with it?
Well, it takes us minds off things as they are, I'll give you that.
Things as they are? In what respect?
In respect of you and me, for one thing. Would you say as we were equal?
Well, yes, I would, as a matter of fact. I mean, we live in the same sort of house, don't we? I've got more to manage on than you have. Well, I will have, than you, on account of George's compensation, but Yes. Well, there's not that much between us.
I was saying naught about you as again me. I meant you and me as compared to others. We were both born equal, I'll grant you that. We were both born as ugly as sin. I never met anybody as could put that right.
I'm rather spoiled for choice between Farmer and Chef Torino.
Yes.
Remember old Maxwell?
Maxwell?
Yeah, Maxwell's farm this was. They used to milk cows in here. Can you smell cow clap?
Don't be revolting.
Oh, nature's not revolting, what? No, he used to come and pinch tundries from the field at the bottom of the hill outside that window there. And that's all we'd eat in a day sometimes. Tongies.
Tongies?
Turnips. You remember old Maxwell, don't you? Big red face, white hair, carried a stick. Used to wave it at us and call us bloody black puddings.
It's before my time. You seem to forget I'm 10 years younger than you are.
I don't forget, you won't let me.
Look, it's...
Thank you.
That was meant as a simple statement of fact, not something for you to brood over. I only remember because I know that you and Sam are about the same age.
Have you ever told Sam that we know each other?
No. I don't know why. I tell him most things. I almost told him once after we first met in London. I don't know why I didn't.
Well, he'll likely not remember me anyway.
Oh, he'll remember you. He's 1 foot firmly in the past, as Sam.
Yeah, most of my generation have.
Why is that?
Well, change, I suppose. You know, born and brought up in the 30s, hungry and half-educated. Landed in a war where we learned to like poetry and listen to the London Symphony Orchestra and Dame Myra Hess. Discharged at the end of it with no school certs to help us into the promised land. And a lot of half-digested political ideas that we've been fed by the Army Education Corps enthusiasts. And now we are in never had it so good land. So what comes next, Josephine?
You've done all right.
You reckon?
A successful novel.
Yeah, by whose standards? Yours?
It wasn't bad.
Thank you.
They've made it into a film, haven't they? There's another one on the way, isn't there?
Yeah, more or less.
What's it about?
What do you think it's about?
Me?
Yeah, in a way.
Helps you, does it?
Hmm?
To write about me. Helps you to get it out of your system, does it?
Well, no, not really. I mean, it's more of an escape.
From me?
Well, from life, I suppose. Well, maybe not escape. I mean, well, it hurts when I write it.
Oh. Good.
Sadist.
Would you like to order now, sir?
No.
Well, why should you escape when I can't? Looking down a bloody microscope doesn't help, you know.
I do know.
Do you? Do you care?
You know I do.
But more to write. You use me to write. That's what writers do, don't they? They use people.
Well, in a way.
Thanks.
But not you. In that way, not you.
Oh, what's so different about me?
I love you.
Shut up.
All right, I'll shut up.
You're a turncoat.
Am I?
At least I know what I believe in. I've not turned my back on that.
Politics. Oh, yes, that's all life, isn't it? The sum total of the human condition can be deciphered from the brain of any political or contemporary left-wing politician.
Look, you're weak. You let go because it's too uncomfortable to hold on.
The other way around, as a matter of fact, but you wouldn't understand that.
Which means we're not supposed to talk about it. Or you might at least try to defend yourself.
I can't. Not against you.
That's great, that is. It's like being asked to kick a jelly.
Oh, well.
Had any affairs lately?
Shut up.
I have.
Smoked Scotch
I have the
salmon,
milkman twice a week.
avocado
He's
pear
spotted.
filled with crab, melon,
Mum
in
says he looks
season,
like scarlet
preserved,
fever.
Swiss meat, cream of lobster soup with brandy.
Or is it chicken pox? you shouldn't have come.
Oh, you can have Aylesbury
I've learned to
duckling,
live my life for what I believe
served with
in.
black olives.
I don't need you.
2 person, 65 shillings. That can't be bad.
I don't need you. I don't need...
We need more discipline in schools
Oh,
these
no,
days.
You're old-fashioned, Morris. You're out of date. Look, Tadcaster Grammar School governors proposed the first comprehensive in the West Riding.
Yes.
Tories to a man, as far as I know. 1944, that was. It was a fact by 1955.
Yes, and it's a damn good school, and it works.
Well, then.
This we've got here doesn't. And parents who can pay are sending their kids to the direct grant schools.
Aye, if there weren't any direct grant schools, they'd maybe pitch in and make this one work. Parents' pressure, that's all it needs.
And a new headmaster.
Maybe.
Look, the parents who care are in the minority. They don't get listened to. They should shout louder, but they don't. And they come up against the solid indifference of the apathetic majority, and they say, to hell with it. And they opt out of the system. And I don't blame them. And I'll defend their right to opt out to anybody, including you, Frank.
Look, the school hasn't worked as well as it could have, I'll grant you. But there's absolutely no reason why it shouldn't, given the necessary changes.
How long will that take?
Look, a couple of years, obviously.
What happens to Tom in the meantime?
He suffers because of our failure to make the thing work. How many of your fellow MPs send their kids to public schools, Frank?
A fair number, you may as well admit.
Aye, in urban areas mostly. Now, that's where the real problems are. I'm at a disadvantage. I don't have kids.
You can't make them suffer for what you believe in, you mean?
Morris.
It's
I'm
Sam,
sorry.
not at me.
I don't understand him.
Well, I do. He was a late developer, Sam. If there'd been no 11 plus and a comprehensive system, he'd have had an education. University, probably. He was bright enough, except...
Except what?
Well, he was affected by his father going off, and then Dora dying. He spent all his time gazing out the window. I could never get him to concentrate.
Well, he's done all right. What's wrong with him?
He shares your husband's peculiar ideas about the educational system. That's all.
His granddad Toby wanted to pay for him to go to grammar, but Dad wouldn't have it.
I didn't know that.
Well, it doesn't solve the problem anyway, does it?
What does he think now? Does he think he was right?
Dad? I don't know. After all, like Eileen says, Sam's done all right, hasn't he?
By whose standards?
By any standards, I'd have thought. Look at the way he works.
Yes, the way he works.
I've finished.
Off to bed, then. Bath first, hmm?
Good night.
Night, love.
Good night, Tom.
Night-night.
And what does he want?
He's a bit
What
young,
does he
isn't
want, Morris? You're the one he talks to. Well, he knows not a damn bit of use talking to Sam and me. Because when it comes to politics and high moral principles and so on and so forth, I'm way down the league. We don't have discussions in this house, we have lectures.
He's just trying to prove something, that's all.
To prove something, what?
I don't know. It's just something I've always felt about him, that's all.
Oh. We don't want that on, do we?
Don't we?
Do you?
Well, I might like to be asked.
You want it on, do you?
No.
You're just being awkward.
You've got a book I've been told I should read. That young lad that went to school with our Sam wrote it, they tell me. It was at that school we got him into after his mother died, and this lad was here. He come from round here. His dad worked at Skeleton Mine. He was killed in the fall, and his missus died soon after. What was his name?
Tad Dawson.
That's him, that's the one.
It's over there on the dresser.
About this place, isn't it?
Well, some says it is. It's not like any place I've ever lived in. You should read it. It'll open your eyes.
About what?
It's suggestive.
Go on. What's it suggesting?
You know what I mean.
You mean it's mucky?
Read it and find out.
I wouldn't have thought she'd have gone out with a chap like that. Met him in London, I suppose.
Who did?
Chap that writes mucky books.
Who's going out with him?
Our Pat, ain't she?
Cheer up, Liz.
I'm all right. You're the one who's supposed to sweat, aren't you? Caught red-handed out with your bit of stuff.
Liz.
I'm sorry. I feel a bit... well, you know.
I don't give a damn.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Why did you ask to see me tonight instead of tomorrow, then?
I said, didn't I? It's Bonfire Night tomorrow. I told young Tom he couldn't have fireworks unless I was there. He thinks I'll not be, but I've got to be, haven't I?
We can't just sit here casting glances all night, can we? There's an old friend of yours over there. Why don't you come and join us?
You got to the mucky bit yet?
It divides society, Morris, and it starts with education. Until that's right, nothing else can be.
Frank, what do you want? Equality or equality of opportunity?
Well, one leads to the other, doesn't it?
I'd better see if Tom's got a towel.
You're a great help, aren't you?
Who, me?
Both of you. She didn't ask you to set the world to rights. She just wanted advice about one little lad.
What about all the other little lads?
Would you say that if he was yours?
I hope I would, yes.
You think Sam's right, then?
No. Yes, I do.
Well, I think you're both wrong.
You've got the answer, have you?
Oh, I've got more than one answer. I've got two. I think you're right in the long run. But I think he's right now.
You can't have it like that, love.
Morris? He's not there. Or his bedroom. He's not in the house.
Tom?
That orphanage we went to when we were kids. Like a jail. Bars on some of the windows. Dad slept in dormitory B, didn't you? If you stood on your bed and you looked out the window, you looked down on a house. We used to watch them, didn't we? The kids and the mother and father. In the winter, when the lights were on. A family living in a house. I went past there a year or two ago. I stood in the street and I looked across at the doorway where I said goodbye to me gran, homesick before she left me. And I stood there looking at me and me gran and I wanted to say, it's all right, don't feel sick. Look, you're here now. You're all right, aren't you? Everything passes in time. It's rough on you when you're young, making sense of a grown-up's world.